Now that we know about PeopleSoft architecture and different layers and different connections and what each layer is there for, now is the time to put all of these things together to learn how PeopleSoft works. At first, this chart may look very complex, but when we'll go through each of these sections, everything will fall into place and you will learn about each of these areas. So let's start with database server. You already know database server is the place which stores, manage and retrieve data. It has our PeopleSoft tables, system catalog, people tools table and application tables. So all the data of PeopleSoft application is stored in database server. Being a database server, it can only understand the language of SQL, and that's why you see all the parts which are connected to database server talks to it using a SQL. Windows client is there, you have application server, and then you have batch server. Second layer is application server. Application server, which is based off Tuxedo, is used to manage users, manage services, manage communication between web server and database server. It is also used to run PeopleSoft services, execute business rules, execute your people code, and there are many other uses of application server. There are so many processes that run on application server, which makes it so efficient. Application server talks to database server using SQL. Third layer is web server. Web server, also known as presentation layer, is responsible for web services providing HTTP request. Web server also contains integration gateway, which is used for messaging, and it is also integrated with SES or Elasticsearch, which is used for search inside PeopleSoft. Next is web browser. Any user who wants to access PeopleSoft application in NTR mode will use a supported web browser, also known as PIA client. PIA client, being a web browser, will talk to web server using HTTP or HTTPS protocol. Fifth is batch server. Batch server, or also known as process scheduler, is again based on Tuxedo. It is used to run processes in batch. It can be used for offline reporting and processing. It executes business logic. Whenever you run processes on a batch server, it will most likely create some reports or files. Those files are stored on a location known as report repository. These reports, which are generated by batch server, can be transferred to report repository using FTP or Xcopy. Next is Windows client. As you know, Windows client in case of PeopleSoft is used to install, maintain PeopleSoft application. Examples are application designer, data mover. You can use a Windows client either in 2-tier mode or 3-tier mode. File server. When you install PeopleSoft and we use PeopleSoft, besides database server or application server, there are so many files which are used while running the PeopleSoft application. These files are stored in PeopleSoft homes. There are multiple types of PeopleSoft homes which are used when a PeopleSoft application is run. These PeopleSoft home usually store client binaries, some reports, some scripts, some files. All these files are stored on a file server. So as now we can see, all these different parts of PeopleSoft architecture are integrated and can pass and transfer information between each other. So this is how PeopleSoft works.